A day of tribute to the contributions and achievements of American workers. A day families celebrate with parties, parades, and sometimes a little bit of baseball. And today also kickoffs the 10-game homestand here at US Cellular Field. So sit back, relax, and have a little fun. A Labor Day edition of White Sox baseball is next. Oh, there she is, the city beautiful, Chicago, Illinois, where this afternoon Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Jose Abreu, Avi Garcia, Melky Cabrera and the Sox as they get set to bump heads with Terry Francona's Cleveland Indians. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Ken Harrelson with Steve Stone as we get set to bring you the first of this 3-game set and the first of this 10-game homestand. As you know, we're coming off that 6-game road trip where we started in Minnesota. We lost the first 2, won on Sunday. Then we go to Kansas City and, for the first time in a couple of years, sweep those guys. So we won 4 in a row. And this afternoon, putting his hard hat on and going out there to the bump is our all-star southpaw, Chris Sale.
It is a wonderful Labor Day. It's red hot, and Chris Sale has been just as hot as the weather. Chris Sale lifetime 4-4 against the Indians, so he hasn't been overwhelming, but in his last 5 starts he has been. 3-0 with an ERA of 2.34. As you can see, as usual, 8 walks, 53 strikeouts. This is a guy that's knocking at the door of 300 strikeouts this year if he continues to go as well as he's gone. So Chris Sale looking for a better outing today. And as you can see, he's got to deal with a couple of guys. And those couple of guys are Francisco Lindor, who's hitting 400 in his last 14 games. And Ryan Rayburn, not only is he hitting 444 in his last 8 games, but he always saves his best for our Chicago White Sox. So hopefully today Chris can hold them down. If he can, we should be in pretty good shape.
Well, the Indians are sending a right-hander out there. Last time out, had a tough time.
Trevor Bauer last time pitched against the wrong team, the Toronto Blue Jays, and they absolutely murdered him. When Bauer gets his fastball up, he gets hurt. He lasted an inning and a third, 6 hits, 5 earned runs. And that was the shortest outing of the season. So Bauer against our ball club is 2-1 lifetime. His ERA is in the mid-3s, so he's done a pretty good job. And he's got to deal with Ramirez and Eaton. Both of these guys had just a magnificent series against Kansas City. And they did it all. They did it defensively. They hit the ball out of the ballpark. They scored runs. They stole some bases. This twosome has done a terrific job. And hopefully today it'll be more of the same, because this homestand is one we really have to take advantage of.
That is so true. Well, our Sox are looking for 5 in a row here on Labor Day. So sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
Kansas City. You have to have good starting pitching if you're going to be successful. And our starting pitching was absolutely unbelievable. First it was Johnny Danks, who now is 10-2 lifetime against Kansas City, and he was absolutely brilliant in this game. Then Jose Quintana, who had never beaten Kansas City, beat them for the first time. Setting up Eric Johnson, who won his first game of the year, and this his first major league start, did a whale of a job, pitched into the 6th inning. But you couldn't do it without offense, and there was plenty of that. Sox hit the ball out of the ballpark. They hit the ball against the wall. They one-hopped the ball over the wall, and they stole bases. They got a lot of base hits, and just about everybody in the lineup contributed to what was a pretty big effort. So take a look at the numbers on the 3-game sweep. Team hit 351. They scored 25 runs. They had 40 hits, 6 home runs, batting average of runners in scoring position, which is unbelievable, almost 400. Starters ERAs 164, and they did not commit one error during that series. So today, as Chris Sale goes to the mound looking for lucky number 13. We're ready to play baseball, and we'll be back after these messages.
Is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. Audi, truth in engineering. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Toyota. The annual clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to beautiful U.S. Cellular Field. It's great to be back home after a road trip that was terribly successful. Let's take a look at how Terry Francona is going to line up his Cleveland Indians, a team that we're going to have to jump over if we're going to be a factor in the wild card. Francisco Lindor leading it off, and the rookie is doing a great job. Mike Aviles in the 2 spot, then Carlos Santana, who's hit Chris Sale very well over the course of his career. Then it's perennial Sox killer Ryan Rayburn in right field, Yan Gomes, Chris Johnson, Jerry Sands, Abraham Almonte, and Giovanni Urshela rounded out. The defense, an out they'll line up behind Chris Sale left to right, Melky Cabrera, Adam Eaton, and J.B. Shuck in the outfield, with Mike Olt, Alexi Ramirez, Carlos Sanchez, and Jose Abreu in the infield. Tyler Flowers behind the plate, and our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Chris Sale. This is 27th start, going after his 13th win. His ERA 3.29, 239 strikeouts, and 177 2/3 innings. The umpires for the game this afternoon: Lance Barksdale behind the plate, Ryan Blakeney is at first, the crew chief Eric Cooper at second, and Quinn Wolcott at third. So they've thrown the ball around the infield. Chris Sale has it. He's ready to go, and so are we. And I turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
Hi, Steve. Thank you. And once again, good afternoon, everyone, and a very happy Labor Day to each and all out there. Make sure you make it a safe one. So here we go. First of 3 against these guys. And here is first pitch of the ball game to Francisco Lindor, 21-year-old switch hitting shortstop.
He's been a better hitter right-handed with more power left-handed. But overall, playing a terrific shortstop. And Tyler Flowers gets hit right off the bat, and he's got to shake that one off.
Needless to say, Tyler has a beaten-up body.
You're going to catch your share of games, and now they're going to come out. They want to look at him because flat off the mask, first thing you worry about is a concussion.
Two times ago, we were in Kansas City. After the final game, he had to leave after 7 innings. I walked in the training room. He was getting an IV. Heat exhaustion. And this past trip, I walked in there, and you should have seen the bruises, especially on the instep of his left foot. All over his legs.
It's just a very, very tough position to play. Play it on a daily basis. You're going to get beaten up. By the end of the season, you're just one large bruise. But the thing they worry about the most is concussions. And that's been obviously brought to the fore recently, not only in football, but in baseball, and usually it's catchers.
So here's the 0-2 pitch. There's a chopper to Hopper. 1 out. So Lindor is retired. Here's the second baseman, the veteran infielder, outfielder, all-purpose player, Mike Aviles. Hitting at .222, 4 homers, 13 driven in.
Best way to play him is the same way they played Escobar of Kansas City, which was shade him around toward right and right center field. Chris doing what he always does. He's getting the ball and he's throwing it. Terry Francona made a decision today. That decision, Michael Brantley is not playing. Jason Kipnis is not playing. I think it's a good day to take a rest against a tough left-hander.
Well, a man who has 10 consecutive winning seasons as a manager, knows what he's doing. Oh, nice. Little short hop. 2 down. Ball was scalded.
Probably the biggest break was that it hit off the mound and it created a better hop at the end. And Carlos stays right in front of it. See it hit off the mound, then take a high hop into his body. But if you're in front of it, worst thing that can happen is it hits off your body and at second base, so you get to pick it up and throw him out.
So here's Santana. Hitting at .233. 15 homers, 68 knocked in. One of 3 switch hitters in his lineup.
And he's one of the guys with very good numbers against Chris Sale over the course of his career. There you see the disparity between the two sides. Left-handed, much more power. Right-handed, his natural side, a better hitter.
Well, he's 11 for 30, and all 11 of the hits have stayed in the park. He's 11 for 30 off a good right-hander, then probably at least 1 or 2 or 3 are going to be out of the ballpark.
There's no doubt about that. Switch hitters almost always, not always, but almost always have more power from the left side because they hit 70% of the time from that side.
2-2. Ryan Rayburn on deck. He going. 1, 2, 3 inning for Chris. After half inning of play, it's there guys nothing, and the good guys coming to bat.
Monona, Iowa. Let's take a look at how Robin's going to line up our Sox after a very successful road trip. Adam Eaton leading it off. He's been red hot. Lexi Ramirez has also been hot in the 2 spot. Then it's Jose Abreu, Melky Cabrera, who's torched the Indians this year. Avi Garcia, J.B. Shuck, Mike Old, Carlos Sanchez, and Tyler Flowers rounded out the defense, and how they'll line up behind Trevor Bauer. It's Sands, Almonte, and Rayburn in the outfield with Urshela, Lindor, Aviles, and Santana in the infield. Yan Gomes behind the plate. And our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Trevor Bauer. He's on for his 28th start. He's looking to even it up at 500. His ERA above 4.5. And last time out against Toronto, he lasted an inning and a third, his shortest outing of the year.
And before we show you our picks to click you at home, select yours. As here's Adam. And Bauer's first pitch. Fastball at 94. Adam at 277, 12 homers, 43 knocked in. 2 for 11 with a homer. Off Trevor Bauer, 24-year-old right-hander. Bauer has good stuff, especially when he's getting that curveball over. If he's not, it takes away from his fastball, which is not overpowering if he's not getting the curveball over.
Oh, he's had a tendency to get that fastball up.
Little number.
That's pretty dangerous for a first baseman, and pitchers really should work on that a little more than they do. When you pick up the ball and you pick it up barehanded, you can't get a great grip on it. And when you throw the ball into the runner, you're putting your first baseman at risk. That's exactly what happened. And Hawk has seen more than a few first basemen in his time reach across and come away with some big arm problems.
Bad arm problems.
Did that ever happen to you where you reached across, the guy either hyperextended your elbow?
Happens every first baseman.
Yeah.
That was one of the cardinal rules in baseball back in those time zones. So, first rule was, and always has been, always will be, is no betting on baseball. That's number one.
I think there's one guy walking around these days that probably can attest to that.
And one of the top 5 rules, cardinal rules, was you don't go in the training room.
That I found out very early in my career.
Such as?
Well, what happens is, and I didn't know at the time, but they document each and every one of your trips to the training room. And in those days, on a 1-year contract, when you were known as a guy that spent a great deal of time in the training room and you weren't great, you were most likely to be traded a lot earlier than you wanted to be.
So there's a 1-out walk for Alexei, who's really been swinging about. He had a terrific series in every respect in Kansas City and on the road trip early. As here's Abreu. Jose hitting at 293, 25 homers, 83 driven in.
Alexei's been much more aggressive on the base paths, and because he's our most prolific base stealer, you got to keep a close eye on him. 16 out of 21 he swiped this year, putting him 3 ahead of Adam Eaton.
Abreu's had luck against Bauer, 7 for 16. All of them have stayed in the park.
Bauer has, by his own count, 7 pitches. He's going to need them all because Jose in his 6-game hitting streak is hitting 360. But 7 pitches is a bit much, and most pitching coaches will tell you early in the game, pick a fastball and one of your best breaking pitches and establish those.
Oh, look at this. Is that a Kansas City special? No. A shank, and the count evens at 1. Now we had a pitcher of that ilk. Back, he led the league in strikeouts. Javier Vasquez had the best stuff of any 500 or below 500 pitcher I've ever seen.
Well, when you looked at and evaluated each and every one of his pitches, they were 4 plus major league pitches.
Plus.
Absolutely.
The only trouble is he wanted to throw all 4 in each and every at bat. What a terrific guy he was.
Great athlete. Could really hit, Could field his position, could do everything.
Great.
Everything you'd want. Great on the ball club, great in the clubhouse, and yet you could never get him to have those few really big years in a row.
Well, he finished up pretty good with Atlanta. He had 325 decisions. That'll tell you how good he was. And he was only 5 games over 500. 165, 160.
As I say, when you take a look at his stuff, you would predict a 40 or more over 500 pitcher.
Oh, sure.
Give his stuff to Mark Burley and see where he finished up.
Well, one of the heads of the Atlanta organization called me after they got him and said, "Hawk, what are we getting here?" And I said, "You're getting a guy. First of all, he's a terrific person. He's a terrific teammate. He's a good competitor." I said, "And he's got great stuff. The only problem is he wants to throw it to each and every hitter." I said, "If you can get your pitching coach to either eliminate the curveball or the slider in an outing, he's going to be way ahead of the game." So he was there for a while, and my friend called me back. He said, we can't get him to stop.
No, unfortunately, he never really learned that. Now you figure that Alexi's going to be going. One thing he's got to do, however, is make sure that Bauer doesn't give him his best move at first base.
He's got a pretty good lead. And Bauer has got a quick move. Not on that one. He's a little quicker than that. Bauer's somewhat of a kindred spirit. There he goes. And there's a shank. Of course, there have been some very good pitchers who were free-spirited.
Yeah, one of the things that Mickey Callaway has tried to impress upon Trevor Bauer, we've seen it in this at bat. It's not just against Jose Abreu, but he is so much arm side strong, meaning he wants to throw the ball inside the right-hand hitters consistently. And Mickey is trying to get him to throw the ball on the outer part of the plate, because if you keep throwing fastballs in, there's a very little margin for error. Plus, you hit a lot of guys and put a lot of guys on.
There he goes. So 2 down. Like I say, with number 17. Well, the other side to that pitching consistently in like that is you're very seldom going to get umpires who will call you inside strike.
Now, and you'll get some hitters who will cheat. If they think that maybe one pitch of the at bat is going to be away, every time you throw a fastball, they're going to open up and look in.
Well, all the hitters have to do is read this.
Read that.
And these are the inside edge notes by Inside Edge Scouting Services. They will tell you how many pitches he will throw inside the right-handers. For an example, it says a couple of examples here. Chris Sale has at least 6 strikeouts. This is just a stat there. But Chris Sale uses his changeup 28.2% of the time on the first pitch of an at-bat. That's way above average.
But that means also, if he uses that, that means a little less than 30% of the time you have to guess and sit back and wait. And very few hitters want to sit back and let him get ahead with a fastball.
Right.
0-1.
And a lot of these stats, and don't get me wrong, Inside Edge does a great job in compiling these things. It's a ton of work, and they are very good at what they do. But for hitters to be going through all this stuff, is that's fouled back by Cabrera. It just puts too many things, too much. They're just laden with information. You go to the plate, well, 28% of the time he's going to throw. Change it. Let me see this and that. Pooh, there's a 97. All of a sudden now you have a brain cramp.
Whoa. Somehow he didn't read the numbers. He got to read the stats if this is to work.
Now field straight up. 2 out. Pick him up, Melky. 1-2 pitch. There's that hook. And that'll retire the side after 1, no score.
brought to you by Miller Lite.
And fans, you can interact with CSN Chicago during the game by using the hashtag White Sox Talk, and make sure to follow us on Twitter at CSN White Sox. Here's an old Sox nemesis and a pain in the derriere, Ryan Rayburn. He's had good luck against Chris. 8 for 31 of the 8 hits, 6 of them stayed in the park. Hitting at .289, 5 homers, 25 knocked in, and his career numbers against us are just nothing short of sensational, as certainly compared to other teams.
Yeah, if you take a look at the runs batted in over the course of his career against our Sox, it looks like he should be in the Hall of Fame. But if you add the next 3 teams together and how many runs he drove in against the next 3 teams on the list, they don't add up to as many as he's driven in against our Sox.
Well, he would certainly be on our all-opponent Hall of Fame list. There's no question about that. And it's not so much the numbers as when he got them, too.
Well, 80 runs batted in 117 games.
Yeah, he's just beaten us so many times. I mean, his RBIs beat us. They just didn't hurt us. They beat us.
By the way, it is raining.
Good. Just a slight drizzle.
Maybe it'll cool things
off. It
will.
A bit. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with that. Watch out. Watch out. Hits on top of our dugout.
Yeah, the best thing about that was that it hit on top of the dugout before it went into the seats. And so that man is rewarded for wearing his the coach, Mike Ditka, his jersey.
J.J. Shira. Why is it every time I send somebody to Ditka's or hear about Ditka's, the first thing to think about is J.J. Shira? He's such a good guy. And he draws the leadoff walk.
Yan Gomes this year has had his season interrupted by a stint on the DL.
A lot of fans are going back underneath, and a lot of fans are holding status quo. Rayburn has hit. Ooh, that is just foul. Wow. That was close.
Missed by an eyelash of being a 2-base hit. No chance for Olt at third base. He was playing just off the line. You see how far he is. And fortunately, this one was on the left side of the line, says Quinn Wolcott.
Can't get it. Count nothing in 2.
Decent career numbers against Chris Sale. Not many guys have good career numbers against Chris. Last year, Gomes hit .278, hit 21 home runs, drove in 74, and he played a full season, played in 135 games. Not going to make that this year.
Nice approach to that pitch. Chuck on the track. He just missed taking that one out of here.
JB has given Robin exactly what he needed this year from a 4th or 5th outfielder. A guy who can swing a left-handed bat, hit off the bench late in the game, and he's won 2 ball games for the Sox, and then play occasionally against some of the tougher right-handers or when you want to give a guy a day off, and steal a base if need be, and JB can do that.
Well, when he was with the Angels, he hurt us in a couple of games. And that was a little bit impressive, but since he's come over here, he's a better player than I thought he was.
Well, came to spring training with no promises whatsoever and literally forced his way on the team because I don't think that they expected he was going to make it.
No, he's a better player than I thought.
Johnson came over in the trade for Nick Swisher and Michael Bourne. Chris led the National League in hitting one year. Was traded from Houston to Atlanta. Started off red hot.
Yes, he did, with that Wave uniform. Change up.
Putting on the Indian uniform, he was red hot. And then in New York at the hotel, he got bitten by something. Might have been a spider. They don't know. All they know is that the finger swelled up and he had to go back to Cleveland and take antibiotics.
He gone. That's one reason I don't go anywhere without my wet ones when we're on the road. I take them out.
Wipe down the spiders?
Well,
clean them up?
All the handles everywhere. And there's some, I've talked to some doctors about that. There are some wild stories because of all the influx of people coming to New York, especially like Miami. The bugs, the bed bugs that they have are incredible. Well, they get stories all the time about it.
I was going to say, for Johnson, they still don't know what it was. All they do know was it swelled up, was very painful, and he had to go on the disabled list through a full course of antibiotics to try to knock down whatever it was.
Sands hitting at .235, 3 homers, 16.
Of course, they suggested to do a Ronnie Lott. You might remember the football player with San Francisco, who after shattering his little finger, he told him he'd be out for 6 weeks if they did the surgery. So he told them to cut it off and played the next week.
That's a little extreme.
I would think so, yeah.
There's a strike. Sands out of Wendell, North Carolina. Attended Catawba College. 1-2 pitch. He goes. And that'll retire the side. Third strikeout for Chris. And after an inning and a half, no score.
November 13th at 10:15 a.m. First 1,000 children's tickets purchased through this special offer are invited to an exclusive pregame children's autograph session. Visit whitesox.com/autographs for tickets and more information.
Javi Garcia, as the rain has disappeared. That was a nice little cooling off respite. Javi at .266, 12 homers, 56 knocked in, 3 for 9 off Trevor Bauer.
playing Avi a few steps into right center field.
All the emails and the texts that I get about our players, I would say Avi probably gets 80% of them. Questions about Avi Garcia. Just how good he can be. So the pitchers, of course, it's Chris Sale.
Well, I would think, yeah, I think one. And I'm going to answer one here that is a pretty good one.
There's ball 4.
This came from Dr. Chris Wright. And he says, Eric Johnson throws in the low 90s. Can he have a long career? Absolutely, he can have a long career. And the reason he can is that a lot of people throw in the low 90s have long careers. Just depends on where he spotted it. Now, if he throws like he threw yesterday, where he was very aggressive early, got everything over the plate, and made sure that he was ahead of most of the hitters, low 90s doesn't matter very much. As long as you're hitting your spots with it, and he was yesterday. You know, he gave that really good hitting team 2 hits through the first 5 innings, and then with the heat and humidity kind of wilted a bit in the 6th. But absolutely, if he throws like he did yesterday, or anybody else who throws in the low 90s, whether it's a right or left-hander, you can have a very long career depending on your control.
Well, he was a well above average Major League pitcher yesterday.
Yes, he was.
Which we saw that 2 years ago when he made those starts for us, and then last year when he made those 5 starts, he was the antithesis of a well above average Major League pitcher.
Looked like for whatever reason he lost his confidence in his own stuff. If you have confidence in your stuff, you're going to go right at the hitter. Doesn't matter what kind of stuff you have.
I enjoyed watching this little routine every inning yesterday. His first 2 pitches he threw from in front of the rubber. And he worked his way back and started pitching off the rubber. And he's got that little routine. When you have a routine, that's a comfort zone for you. You have some place to go. When you don't have a routine, the same way in hitting, the same way pitchers create their own routine, same way in golf. Your good players, great players have a great routine. That's where when the heat gets on, they have some place to go. And that place to go is inside that routine.
Well, all of a sudden, it's been 7 straight bad ones. And if he walks Shuck, you would expect Mickey Callaway would come out and make a suggestion about him getting the ball over the plate.
Well, don't help him out, JB. And there's ball 4. Talking about Eric Johnson, he was a very lucky young man yesterday because of this.
Well, he was looking at the baseball, and justifiably so. That's what pitchers do. And at the last instant, he got both of his hands up and made sure that the bat didn't get into his body or his head. And also he was fortunate that the pointed part of the bat did not hit it. He came away unscathed, but you probably won't see that another time this year. You might see it once a year, but he was very fortunate.
Well, if he stays right where he was yesterday, he's going to be on the staff next year.
You would think so. He was pretty impressive. I talked to Don Cooper, who said that he felt he accomplished everything that he set out to accomplish yesterday.
So here's Holt. He was 2 for 4 in his White Sox debut yesterday. First 2 times up, didn't look too well. First at bat, 3 pitches, 3 swings, grabs some bench.
Meantime, that's 9 straight out of the zone.
Mike with 2 sharp base hits. His last 2 at bats. Well, he might be going through one right now. You've gone through them. Every pitcher has, where you have a blank crowd. Just can't figure out why I can't throw a strike.
Nope, and that happens a lot. You go through a period where all of a sudden your mechanics become askew. You think you know what's wrong, but you can't correct it for a bit.
3-0. Take 2.
I was kind of surprised that Callaway did not come out to talk with him after the walks, and he's thrown another 3 straight bad ones.
And that will load him up. Back to back to back walk. And let's check out our picks to click this afternoon. Fangio and Mike Cleary and Dave Ross and the crew, they went with Sanchez. He's going with Davey Shuck and Mike Spadali. Matt Nikeel and all their crew, we're going to go with Tyler Flowers.
Well, so far on this early yet, but that walk by Shuck, he looked terrific in that walk. So now Mickey Callaway comes out.
Spare me, please.
And he's already made a call to the bullpen to get them up and ready, as Trevor Bauer has gone through a spell where the plate has been very elusive.
I am getting tired of speeches by politicians on both sides of the aisle.
Well, I don't blame you. And I was just pointing out the obvious of how well JB wasn't his speech pitches per se. He took the pitches unbelievably well. Time now for AT&T Uverse Multiview. Pretty decent speed at second and third.
So here is Carlos.
There is a huge difference when you have some problems with your starting pitching and you're in September, because you've already expanded your bullpen.
Well, there's going to be a lot of people at home thinking to themselves on that situation, how in the world can he walk the bases loaded and Carlos Sanchez go up there and swing at the first pitch? And the reason being is that after the pitching coach, Mickey Callaway, comes out talking, there's probably a 95% chance there's going to be a get-me-over fastball coming on the first pitch. That's why it's okay. He had a good pass at it. He's just underneath it. Get through. Aviles, boy, he can make some plays against us. He's just a good all-purpose player, especially on a contending ball club.
In the meantime, it does score the first run of the game. It's run number 26, driven in by Carlos. This looked like a base hit. Mike Aviles, who is playing second base in place of Jason Kipnis, takes the out at second base, keeps the double play in order. This is a good effort.
Yeah, it was. Aviles and Rayburn really played well against our Sox in their careers. So here's Tyler at 221, 9 homers, 37 driven in. And he takes up high ball one. That's what happens when you're walking guys. You got to throw it for the most part down the middle.
Yeah, when you're all over, the umpire's just not going to give you a close pitch. That's just the way that works. If you're throwing a whole lot of strikes, he has a tendency to have his eyes pretty much glued on every aspect of the strike zone, every part of it, and he's going to give you the benefit. Indians pen. Ryan Webb, tall right-hander, loosening up.
Tyler caught a break on the first one, and he gives Bauer a break on the second. That's just off the outside corner. Adam Eaton on deck. Two and two. Not too much, Tyler.
Linder and Urshela has given the Indians a very strong defensive left side. They've been looking for a third baseman for quite some time, and Urshela, defensively at least, seems to have filled the bill.
That ball hit high and deep. He goes back into the corner on the track. Makes the catch. So Shuck will tag and score. Sanchez into second, and it's a 2-0 game. That ball had a chance to get out of here when it left the bat, and it just died out there.
I'll be at number 38 for Tyler as he battles and finally gets one on the outer third and lifts it to right field.
Well, he's choking up now, especially with 2 strikes. You have better bat control. So here's Adam. He bounced out 1-3. Pick him up, Adam. Takes the high ball 1.
Well, the 2 runs have scored without the benefit of a hit. And certainly walking the bases loaded is one thing. But then putting the bat on the ball and driving home a couple of runs without the benefit of a hit is something that has not been going on for the longest time.
Well, in the old ballpark, Andy Hawkins threw a no-hitter against us and got beat 4-0. Way in the Wayback Machine.
Yeah, I remember he walked a few.
And there was the left fielder that had some problems out there. That was the fire and wind game. It was a close pitch, and he didn't get that one. So the count 3-0. That left fielder was Jimmy Leyritz.
Not really known for his left fielding. Known for his clutch hitting, though, especially in the postseason.
Oh, yeah. He got some big places. That wind had him all confused out there in left field. And there is ball 4. 4th walk of the inning. And here's Alexei. He walked last inning, so the 5th walk of the game for Bauer. Alexei with some just absolutely spectacular defensive plays in that Kansas City series. Every time we play Kansas City, though, he and Alcides Escobar both play very well.
I don't see too many guys get out that quickly on a fastball, but that was 95 right down the middle. And Alexei looking first ball fastball. Does get out a little too quickly.
Well, how many pitches has it been since he's thrown anything but a fastball?
And he can't get that over, so in a very struggling inning.
Especially if we can get a base hit here. There's the breaking ball. Misses.
That was his slider, and he doesn't come close with it. Pitch number 28 this inning on the way.
High pop up, get out of here. Trying to come back, but it won't make it. It's in their dugout.
We told you before the game, and we told you early in the game, but here graphically is Alexei Ramirez's last 8. 515 with a home run, 6 driven in, 10 scored, and all he's done in the last 8 is 7 multi-hit games.
Close, just off the corner. 2 on, 2 out, 2 in, and the 2-2 pitch. Got him upstairs, but we pick up a pair on no hits. Strand 2, and it's 2-0 Sox.
By Miller Lite. First 20,000 fans ages 21 and over will receive a White Sox Irish flat cap. Be sure to stay after the game for fireworks. Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner and official beer of your Chicago White Sox. Purchase tickets today by visiting whitesox.com/SPD.
Abraham Almonte, switch hitter. Almonte hitting at .269, first time he has faced the Sale. Fouls that one. But not fouls off, but it gets off Tyler's glove.
Yeah, I think Lance Barksdale is suggesting to Tyler that he corral those. Two
2-0. 2 runs on no hits, 1 error for us. No runs, no hits, 1 error for them.
You know, Monte hasn't had an opportunity to hit right-handed all that often. Hence the 143 batting average as opposed to 306 from the left side. And all of his power has come as a left-hand hitter.
Debbie Shuck. Yeah, scratch those errors. They just that ball lined into left field. Yes! Michelle, hang with him, kid. Beautiful play by Melky.
Good thing Melky came up with that because it's at least 3 bases and you never know if it gets by him and bounds off the wall. But Melky's played a great left field. Not only thrown the ball exceptionally well, but he's made a couple of these. And this wasn't one of those dives and then you just roll over, everything's okay. It's a flat-out dive. If he doesn't dive, he doesn't make the catch. What a play.
Sox on that road trip, catching everything. Even the first 2 games that we lost. Of course, Tommy Sy Malone just shut us down in that second game at Minnesota. We had no chance against him.
Oh, another one of those guys that you could dust him off out of mothballs. Here's a ball. Go out and start because it's the Sox.
On November 17th.
Yeah.
Lindor, breaking ball. Yeah, that's a digital arrow on our scoreboard out there. Now you can see if you look at it, it's 0, but it looks like a 1.
That was a long run for everybody, and at the end, no chance. Time now for our Lowe's Never Stop Improving stat. Major League leading hits since the All-Star break. Altuve on top, Kinsler in the second spot, Bogarts in the third spot, and then Francisco Lindor. 2 second basemen, 2 shortstops. That's a lot of hits since the break.
Now, shortstop play, the talent there has just been great fun to watch. All around baseball. That kid in New York, he can play a little bit himself. And you got the kid in Houston.
Kid in Houston's been otherworldly.
Yeah. Everybody, everywhere. Shortstop play. Young shortstops are just getting better and better and better as that's fouled back. This young man here, I mentioned, 21 years old, out of Montverde Academy, just outside of Orlando. One of the great sports programs of any high school in the world.
He was born in Puerto Rico. Same thing with Javier Baez, and he moved to this country, moved to Orlando as a 12-year-old.
He gone. 4 strikeouts for Chris. And it's still 2-0.
Tag, Chicago Data Strong fan. You just might see yourself coming up in a future broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile.
Abreu, Cabrera, and Garcia. Jose struck out his first trip. That's into right field. So people were asking me prior to the game about some of my comments, and Steve as well yesterday, about leaders on a ball club and how I felt about Abreu, who could definitely, most definitely be the leader on this ball club, but it's very hard to do if you can't speak English.
I think it's almost impossible to do. And I think he realizes that, and one of the things he gave us his goal when he first got here was to learn English a whole lot better. And he didn't do it. He said his goal was to sing the national anthem in English before a game, which was a pretty lofty goal.
Yeah.
But I would love to be able to see him do that. And I think there is no doubt that he could be a leader on this team.
He could be the leader along with Chris Sale. Just unique among pitchers in that situation. He has the ability to be one of the leaders on this ball club, like Mark Burley was.
Well, you talk to Chris Sale, you ask him directly a question about his accomplishments, and he always takes it back to the team. Really preferring not to talk about anything that he's done, only as it pertains to how the team is doing at a given time. And that's really the sign of a very young man who really understands how to play the game at this point.
That fastball at 94, he goes through that one. He struck out his first trip on a good curveball, maybe the only good curveball thrown by Bauer. That's off the end of the bat on that curveball.
White Sox fans use the Force to make the jump to light speed and head out to the ballpark for Star Wars Day on Sunday, September 13th, presented by Kohl's. Come dressed in your best Star Wars attire and march in the pregame parade around the field. Also, the first 1,200 fans to purchase will receive an Adam 1 Kenobi bobblehead. For specially priced tickets, visit whitesox.com/Star Wars.
Avi walked to start off that second inning. Ball hit deep in the right field, deep off the fence. Bobby's going to make the turn, and he's going to make it in the third with a triple.
That time Rayburn probably didn't play that ball as well as he would have liked. If he'd have gotten back to the wall, figured out where he was, and then made his jump, he'd have had a chance for it. But it looked like he didn't locate the wall.
He just drifted.
And drifting back is not the way to do it. Then he makes his jump. And as you can see, he's not close enough to the wall when he makes that jump. This ball stays in the park. And it's good for a 3-base hit.
That's his second triple of the season. Well, Rayburn is a real good offensive threat. And he plays all over, so you can't expect him to have expertise at every position he plays at. There's where you got to get back to the fence, and if anything, come in. So here's Shuck. He also walked. And he's popped up. Santana. And that'll retire the side, so the one-out triple goes for naught. We'll go to the fourth, still leading 2-0.
Ticket for your chance to win a trip to New York to see the White Sox battle the Yankees. Throw out the first pitch at a White Sox game. Great offers from Famous Dave's and discount White Sox tickets. Head to your local Famous Dave's today for your chance to be a winner. That young fan is already a winner.
There's Mike Aviles. Takes first pitch strike. Mike scalded one, hit the mound, bounced up, and gave Sanchez a short hop. There's a changeup, and the count 0-2. Ball hit hard into left field. And it's a 2-1 ball game. Aviles, his 5th homer, short arms.
Well, that time he picked a pitch that might have been a touch inside. Certainly if it had the corner at all, it just had an eyelash of the corner, and he just unloaded on it.
Well,
5th home run of the year.
You're not going to hit this pitch right here if you extend on it. You see how the short arms, see how he just pulls them in?
That's our Ford home run replay, and line drive rocket out of the park.
Here's Santana. Struck out. Yeah, you take a normal swing or try to extend on that pitch, and you're going to absolutely get sawed off.
Aviles and Rayburn just seem to come alive when, and it doesn't matter who it is, when a Sox pitcher is pitching to them. It also doesn't matter what uniform they happen to be wearing at the time.
2-2. It's like Ned Yost was talking about Johnny Danks the other day. Said he can't explain it.
Nope.
The only thing he knows is Johnny Danks against this ball club is a world beater.
10-2 lifetime, and seemingly a good time every time out against them. Backdoor breaking ball just misses on our Honda pitch tracks.
Yanks that one.
Looked like he might have hurt his arm on the swing. It was his left arm that he's trying to shake out.
Sanchez playing him perfectly. So here's Rayburn. Ryan walked his first trip.
Somewhat surprisingly, these Indians are 37-35 on the road. They're better on the road than they are at home.
Well, they've been crippled up this year and had a lot of. They're very, Sports Illustrated won't pick them to win it all. And there are other people who picked Cleveland to win the American League Championship. And that ball hit deep in center field. This game is tied at 2.
Well, there are the two guys that we talked about. One, Mike Aviles, the other, Ryan Rayburn. Aviles hit his 5th home run this inning. Rayburn hit his 6th home run this inning. Ford home run replay, and this is a breaking ball that doesn't have a late break to it, kind of comes rolling in, and a second row effort for this Ford home run replay.
So here's Gomes. The Francona's talked about earlier has the longest streak winning season, consecutive winning seasons at 10 in the major leagues.
They're going to have to step on it to get there this year.
Yep.
But they just happen to be a much better ball club when they decide to use Brantley, and Kipnis.
Holt guns it over. And there was a good job right there by Gomes. Saw the shift was going to be made rather than have a collision.
Or get hit in the ear with the ball.
Yeah, that too, but I think mainly the collision. You can avoid it if you see it in time. Here's Chris Johnson. He struck out swinging on a changeup. Off the end of the bat, and that is a Kansas City special right there.
This time Johnson cracks the bat. It's an off-speed pitch away, and he couldn't have dumped it in a better spot.
What happens when you make contact? As here's Sands. He struck out, called out on a fastball his first trip. There's another fastball. That one at 97. Some of these hitters now starting to peak Chris' interest.
Yeah, he's reaching back, getting a little something extra to get out of this inning.
Just off the inside corner. A 2-2 tie here in the top of the fourth if you're just tuning in.
Unless you throw it down there, Chris Sands likely not going to walk. He hasn't had a walk against a left-hander since August 5th of this year. That's 33 plate appearances, so he's going up there against the lefties swinging.
Count evens at 2.
And here is command track. He's thrown strikes 68% of the time, as he usually does. First pitch strikes, he's usually a bit better than 9 of 16. The 4 strikeouts and the 1 walk.
Now back to our right.
Sands originally came up very promising player with Los Angeles Dodgers. Things didn't work out particularly well for him.
Hell, of all the pitchers in the American League that you don't want to have 2 strikes on you with is Chris Sale.
He's going to have to hit a slider here.
Back door, yeah, he gone. A beauty, but solo homers by Vilas and Rayburn. We go to the bottom of the 4th, tied at 2. Bobby Garcia and our Sox look to seize the series finale. From Terry Francona's Cleveland Indians join us for the rest in the first pitch at 7 right here on Comcast Sports. 2-2 tie. We only have one hit. We got 2 runs on 1 hit. They have 2 runs on 3 hits. Just tuning in. Second inning. Trevor Bauer, Walt Garcia, Shuck, and Holt to load them up with nobody out. 4-6 fielder's choice by Sanchez, knocked in 1, sacrifice fly by Tyler. Then he walked Eaton again. So 4 walks in that inning. There's a strike to even the count at 1. One and 2.
Now he looks a little more comfortable. He's actually able to hit the outside part of the plate with a strike. Something he couldn't do early.
That slider out there. One out.
Fans, the First Merit Bank Stadium Club offers breathtaking views of U.S. Cellular Field and delicious food and beverage options prior and during White Sox games. Purchase a First Merit Bank Stadium Club membership by calling 312-674-1000.
Sanchez, that 4-6 fielder's choice, picked up his 26th RBI. '21. Softly hit off the end of the bat. 2 down.
It's interesting to watch Lindor as he prepared to sky as high as he could go for what he thought was a line drive, only to see the ball kind of settle right to him.
Talking with Francona before the game, he said Lindor is playing his buttocks off for him.
Well, the interesting part about Lindor, he had the same path as a youngster as Javier Baez did, the guy that we keep on hearing so much about for the Cubs. And the Indians had a choice because both of those guys were available in the same draft. They chose Lindor over Baez because they felt defensively he would be a cornerstone in the middle of the infield for a lot of years. The very next pick, the Cubs took Baez.
Watch out. And Tyler gets hit again. It's amazing how bad his body is beaten up. Well, he's hot. I don't blame him.
You got a guy in the mound that throws inside a lot. And Tyler's hands were right there, exactly where they set, and he got hit right off the hand. There's a lot of small bones there. And he'll take a walk to first base, but it doesn't make it feel any better.
So here's Eaton, Adam. 0 for 1 with the base on balls.
Not a bad idea, and lately he's using that bunt a bit more, and he's been successful with it. Catchers don't like to see guys who really don't make good contact on bunts, because almost invariably, if he fouls it, it's coming back and getting a piece of him.
There's that curveball. And the count 0-2.
The last 7, Adam Eaton has been terrific. 517. A couple of home runs. He's driven in 9 and scored 6.
That fastball, souvenir left side. First of 3 against these Indians and first of 10 on this homestand. Minnesota, after an off day on Thursday, will be here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then we'll finish it off 4 against Oakland.
Tyler Flowers was hit for the 6th time by Bauer.
That will retire the side. We're into the 5th, tied at 2.
Unlock offers and rewards. The official U.S. Cellular Field Ballpark app for your iPhone and Android smartphone perfectly complements and personalizes your trip with ballpark maps, mobile check-in, seat upgrades, and more. Download MLB.com Ballpark today or visit WhiteSox.com/ballpark app to learn more.
Here's Abraham Almonte, Urshela, and Lindor. Starts him off with a changeup. There's one of the 28.2%. First pitch changeups.
It seems like he's doing that about once every 4+ times.
Takes the bunt, takes the ball, and the count evens at 1. High, and that's going to be in the seats for a souvenir. In and out of the seats. Two and two. Tomorrow night it'll be Carlos Rodon against Carlos Carrasco. A couple of good arms out on that bump. And on Wednesday evening, Jeff Samardzija against Josh Tomlin. Tomorrow it'll be over WPWR and Wednesday right back here on Comcast Sportsnet. The ball hammered. Leadoff single.
Time now for our Xfinity high-speed action replay, and it's a great piece of defense by Melky Cabrera. Line drive rocket. Cabrera comes over and makes a very good approach to the ball and a flat-out dive, taking at least 2 bases, maybe more, away from Urshela.
Who's at the plate right now? Almonte 3 for 3 for stolen bases.
They get Almonte from San Diego for Mark Zipchinski.
First pitch strike. This is the 13th game of the season between these two clubs. In the first 12, our Sox have won 7 of them. And that ball laced into right center. Can he get it? Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful jump right there by Adam Eaton. So Urshela hang with him twice today. Giovanni.
From a high home camera, we'll take a look at a good jump by Adam Eaton, who was shading him perfectly. And then getting the ball back in the infield as Almonte had strayed pretty close to second base, thinking that that ball was going to get in there. It didn't, and he's able to get back.
I love defense. And here's Lindor. Grounded to short and also struck out. Long set.
Defense is certainly aided by positioning, and assuming your pitcher is going to throw it where they talked about him throwing it, it really gives you a couple of steps if you're positioned correctly, and Adam was.
Well, for some Baltimore Oriole fans for about 20-25 years, they saw an awful lot of that.
So pretty good shortstop.
They saw some pitchers who could execute control as well. He was throwing it where they were trying to. Takes the bunt, takes the ball.
You get the kind of speed that Lindor has. Bunt against the left-hander, especially if you can push it to the right side, it's very effective.
And that pitch off the plate. So 2-0. He turned it loose. Lindor has 16 doubles, a triple, 7 home runs. Outfield slightly to the right. Nice pick, nice pick. And Chris. He developed too slowly. He wasn't going to get him anyway. But a good pick on a tough hop. For Brave.
Jose right here, knowing he's going to make that play at second base regardless of what. But Lindor runs too well, and there's no chance to turn 2. They cut down the lead man.
Well, as accurate as Jose is, and he is very accurate. If you think back, How many times have you seen the ball hit to him on a forced play at second, him throw it in left field?
I can't remember any.
Me either. Not one. There's Avila's Mike. Grounded to second hard. Hit that ball very hard. And then, leading off last inning, hit one even harder in the right center field bleachers.
Linder with 7 steals. He's been caught twice. This Cleveland team has been very successful running. 71 steals. They've only been caught 24 times. Brantley far and away their best, but he's on the bench.
Thank goodness.
Well, what Terry said about giving him the day off, number one, Brantley has never really fared very well against Chris Sale. Kipnis has been a little bit better, but he said late in the ball game, assuming that Chris doesn't complete the game, he said, I'm going to have 2 real good left-handed bats against the right-handed pensmen that come in.
Yeah, he's going to have a strong bench. Make no mistake about it. There are a lot of managers that will. The guy used to do that, make his lineups out accordingly to how good the pitcher was. It was Lou Piniella. He gone. He knew it. Goal slider. We're halfway home. Tied at 2. Two 4-0 for them, 2-1-0 for us. It'll be Alexei, Abreu, and Cabrera. Alexei has walked and he has struck out. Takes that cutter.
Alexei turned, he pointed at the first base umpire, Brian Blakeney, and he said he wanted an appeal. Well, Lance Barksdale already called it.
Curveball high.
Just the one hit, that by Avi, that triple in the third.
There's a shank. Lowly hit. Urshela took his time, made a good throw, 1 out.
The left side
earlier,
very good.
Yeah, we had played 12 games. We played 13 games against these guys, and we are 8-5 against them. And the man to play right now, Jose Abreu, has hit safely in all previous 13 games, but he is 0 for 1 today. Take it 0 for 2, a strikeout and a fly out to right. Takes first pitch, strike.
Howard came maybe a hitter, possibly 2 hitters away from leaving this game very early. Now he's gotten his stuff in the right zone, using both up and down, in and out. He's thrown pretty well since that disastrous second.
Well, he walked first 3 guys in that inning. We got 2 runs on no hits. Plus, he walked another one later on in that inning. And he also walked Alexei in the first inning. So 5 walks in essence. And an inning in the third. He did not go.
Bauer originally a first-round draft pick, the 3rd player chosen overall in 2011 by the Arizona Diamondbacks. And then in a very big deal, came over to Cleveland along with Matt Albers and Brian Shaw. That was a 3-team deal. Shin-Soo Choo was in that deal. Drew Stubbs in that deal. They both went. Choo went to Cincinnati. Stubbs went from Cincinnati to Cleveland.
That ball hit deep into left center field. But the catch is made. Jerry Sands makes it.
Probably Almonte should have taken control of that, but Sands, a little taller, might have gotten there more quickly. You can't see him calling for it, but you can see him taking the ball away from Almonte. That ball hit hard, but just barely made the track.
We've seen a couple balls hit pretty hard today that just died once they got out there, and yet there's no wind. So here is Melky 0 for 2, a strikeout and a fly out to right field. Check that. Melky, a strikeout and a ground out to short. Curveball high. Ball hit sharply. Couple of hard hit balls in that inning. Meanwhile, we're into the 6th. Still tied at 2. The Monsters of the Midway get ready for their season opener. Get the latest from Hallis Hall and much more on Bears Recap presented by United. All the good folks at United today at 4:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Santana takes a slider strike. He's 0 for 2, a strikeout and a grounder to second.
And although Chris has handled him well today, historically he's done very well against Chris.
And that's low. Two and two.
Trying to heat him up inside, just barely missed. Last couple of swings, Santana has shown some discomfort in that left shoulder area.
Out and around that one and yanks it foul. Bottom of the 7th. Boston Red Sox beating Toronto 8-2. Donaldson, 37th homer. He gone. 7 strikeouts now for Chris Sale.
Chris Sale's pitching line is brought to you by American Sale. 7 strikeouts, only 1 walk, 2 earned runs, courtesy of 2 homers, and in 5 1/3, just 4 hits.
So here's Rayburn, a walk and a home run. Top of the 5th in St. Louis, 8-0 Cubs. Dexter Fowler has homered, as Addison Russell has hit a 3-run homer.
Lance Lynn having some problems against Dan Herron.
That's foul back to our right. Mets, boy, I'll tell you what, 8-5 they're leading Washington. Bottom of the 7th inning.
This a huge series at Washington as they came in 4 games in back of the Mets.
It's a 3-2 Cleveland lead. That ball way back. It's just amazing.
That's one of the longer home runs we've seen. A right-hand hitter hit 3/4 of the way up the bleachers. His perfect day continues, and his perfect career against our Sox continues.
That's crazy. I mean, it really is crazy.
That's a fastball for a home run replay, and I mean, he got every bit of this one.
Those are crazy numbers he's put up against us. And here's Yan Gomes. He hit a ball that appeared was going to be going out of here, but Ivy caught it on the track. 3 solo homers if you're just joining us. 1 by Aviles and 2 by Rayburn.
I've talked to Ryan about his success against the Sox over the course of his career, and he can't explain it. I don't think anybody can.
He goes. Slider. 2 down. 8 punch outs.
Good backdoor breaking ball. Our Honda pitch tracks will show you that it is right there. For a right-hand hitter, you give up on that pitch and just shake your head and walk away. There's nothing else you can do.
Chris Johnson, 1 for 2. Slider strike in that Met game. Doing Cespedes 3 for 4 with his 31st home run. That was off Scherzer. What a pickup he was for the Mets. David Wright's back. David in that game 1 for 4 with an RBI. And that ball hit deep to right. Chuck off the bottom. So he picks up his 11th two-bagger.
Chris Johnson is now 2 for 3 as he takes this fastball and had the outer third of the plate, and it was up. Probably not where Chris wanted it. JB could not get to it, and as it rattles around, Johnson cruises into second.
So here's Jerry Sands 0 for 2. Called out on a fastball and called out on a slider. Chuck makes the catch, but the long home run, very long home run by Ryan Rayburn. They lead it 3-2.
Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag Chicago Data Strong Fan. You just might see yourself on an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile.
Javi Garcia has walked and tripled. Picked up his second triple of the season, coming with 2 out in the 3rd inning. Three, 6, and 1. We'll check that 3, 6, and 0 for them. 2, 1, and 0 for us.
Monte very deep and over toward right center, and that's about the farthest off the left field line we've seen the left fielder, and that's Jerry Sands. He's way around toward left center.
Curveball hit hard right. in front of him.
That was a hanging curveball. It was up in his eyes, and Avi's got the only 2 hits of the ball game for our club. Very bad mistake at 0-2 as he spins one upstairs. It's a good swing at it.
Well, he's lucky that ball stayed in the park. As here is Shuck, has walked and popped up to Santana at first. A little stirring around down in that Indian pen.
'92nd pitch on the way for Bauer.
With a nice play. Can't get him to first. Another nice play by Michael Vilas.
With another guy other than J.B. Shuck or possibly Adam Eaton going down the line, this is going to be a very quick 2. Lindor does the best he possibly can, but Shuck with good speed able to beat the play at first base, making sure they can't turn a pair. Vilas had a good day defensively at second.
Here's Olt. He has walked and he has struck out. Boots it. They still get to force at second. Good recovery by Avilas. Ball hit very hard by Olt. From what we've seen, we've only seen him 7 at bats, but 7 at bats. One thing I would say that Mike Olt has got to do is lay off a high fastball. If he gets the ball down, he can hit it hard.
I would say if he sees a fastball down, he's in good shape, and Avilas able to stay with it, just barely get the force out. That was a one-hop rocket.
So here's Sanchez, 0 for 2 with an RBI.
The pen is up and going. McAllister, the big right-hander. Crockett, the thin left-hander.
In the center field. Almonte. We have finished 6 and we trail it 3-2.
for a chance to win a variety of unique prizes, including a jersey autographed by the 2005 White Sox, tickets to Fan Appreciation Day on October 4th, and more. Visit whitesox.com/summersweeps.
Seventh inning. It'll be Almonte, Urshela, then back to the top of the order with Francisco Lindor. Almonte has had 2 good at-bats, one of them resulting in a line drive single. Three solo homers, one by Aviles, 2 by Ryan Rayburn. If you're just tuning in, Rayburn now with 4 home runs off Chris Sale.
The second of the 2 home runs was a king-size blast over the bullpen and 3/4 of the way up the bleachers.
Yeah, there's a strike. That's about every bit of it.
Every bit that he can get, certainly.
Ryan's not a big guy, but he's very strong, obviously. Here's another line drive. We got a man there. That little Almonte looks solid up there at the dish. And here comes the guy who is 0 for 2 and has hit 2 bullets. Giovanni Urshela.
The Indians also have a pitcher by the name of Giovanni Soto. It's going to be pretty interesting when they go head-to-head. Stereo Giovanni Sotos.
As that ball hit. Shot. Sort of misread it a little bit. Meanwhile, another line drive.
Meanwhile, it's L7, L8, and L9 for Urshela. He's had quite a day against one of the league's toughest pitchers, only he's got 0 for 3 to show for it.
3 hang whiffles. So here's Lindor. He's 0 for 3. Rounder 2. Alexei, a strikeout. And hit into a 3-6 fielder's choice. Another line drive. Nobody's going to get that one. Lindor can run, so he will pull up. That's his 17th 2-bagger. They got some good-looking young players.
Lindor hits this ball hard as Chris gets that fastball up. And the 3rd line drive of the inning. This one finds a place to land.
Mike Aviles. First time up, hit a bullet off the mound, kicked over for a short hop to Sanchez at second. Then he homered into right center field. Then he was caught looking on a vicious slider. Sale with 8 strikeouts today.
Sox pen up and going, and it is the ever-present Matt Albers who's done a real good job as Chris is up to 107 pitches.
Carlos has got it. That'll be 1-4-3 if you're scoring along with us. 7th inning stretch. We need 1 to tie. 7th inning, 3-7 and 0 for them, 2-2 and 0 for us.
Leury Garcia is going to pinch hit, leading it off. He's pinch hitting for Tyler Flowers.
Trevor Bauer was in a whole bunch of trouble early on and has settled in and found his rhythm. That poor Tyler Flowers, I'm telling you, he is beaten up. He has been taking some punishment. Foul tips, getting hit by a pitch. As Leury is gone on that curveball.
Those were the better curveballs that Bauer's thrown all day. And he saved them for Leury's at bat.
Well, from a hitting standpoint, Bauer's tough to hit against. He's all over the place. And then all of a sudden you hear the stride, and you can see the confidence going in him. Now he starts spotting that fastball in the outside corner, and then that slow curveball of his.
You get a pretty good idea why he was the third pick in the country in the first round for the Diamondbacks.
His stuff is real
very good.
There's no question about that. As Adam takes first pitch strike.
Now that he's starting to drop breaking balls over the plate on the first pitch, he's doubly tough.
Adam a little upset with himself right there. He got a cookie and pops it up for out number 2. Here's Alexi, a walk, a strikeout, and a ground out to Urshela at third.
The way Alexi's swinging the bat, Bauer doesn't want to get careless with a fastball, middle in and up.
Got a breaking ball, something off of it. Down.
Yeah, that's what happens, the ground ball.
Meanwhile, it's still 3-2 Indians.
MLB.com and Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat brings you baseball wherever you are. You get live look-ins, highlights, replay previews, scores, statcasts, live radio broadcasts, and the MLB.TV game of the day, as well as more. Download the MLB.com At Bat app on your smartphone and tablet now. Matt Albers comes in the ball game. So Chris Sale's day is done. He'll leave trailing 3-2. Man out for the 21st time. He's 2-0. His ERA a little above 1.5. and 9 walks in 28 2/3 innings with 23 strikeouts. And he's going to throw to Giovanni Soto, who comes in the game as Tyler Flowers left for a pinch hitter. So a new battery as the Sox enter the top of the 8th, 1 run down.
Actually, Chris threw the ball well today. He just threw 2 home runs to a guy who hits him hard and has hit him hard in the past, Ryan Rayburn, and to Mike Aviles, who has always hit our staff hard. Santana. The 0-1. Chris, 7 innings. 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. So that streak of his, 6 or more,
continues.
It's the longest active streak going with 6 or more strikeouts. That ball hit hard. Look, he knocks it down. That was a beautiful play. Beautiful play by Abreu. Wow, that ball was absolutely trying to eat him up.
And Abreu probably will be grateful if Matt does not give up such hard hit drive. That was a one hopper that hit the heel of the glove. This was just a matter of self-defense. Really nice play as he knocks it down, and Alvarez gets over there to make the play. And so here comes Don Cooper out, and everybody comes to the mound. Well, they want to discuss what to do with Ryan Rayburn. But he's not going to get a chance to hit.
Chisenhall is going to hit.
Lonnie Chisenhall.
But Abreu's been here now for 2 years. I have yet to even see him come close to olaying a hard ground ball.
Well,
not one.
He's going to try to knock it down.
He'll take him off the chest, which we have seen him do. That one, you don't want to get in front of that one. You want to take it off the chest.
That one was about as hard as you could hit a ball.
Rayburn will walk in 2 home runs. That ball, J.B. Shuck and right. 2 down. Well, Rayburn, there's an old saying that no longer holds true about a guy who hits you as hard as Rayburn hits us. And I'll just let your imagination go wild. Here is Gomes. Jan. Gone out deep to right, grounded to third, and struck out. Matt Alvarez has been some kind of effective out of that bullpen. He might have as good a sinker as anybody we've got. There's a jump throw. Yes. Beautiful play. Beautiful play by Carlos. So a couple of real good plays right there. And we're into the bottom of the 8th, needing 1 to tie.
top as we head to the bottom of the 8th, and Trevor Bauer's day is done. Brian Shaw comes on for the 61st time. He's 3-3 of fine. 2.61 ERA. He came over from the Diamondbacks in the same deal that brought Trevor Bauer. Well, he's worked out of the bullpen, and left-handers haven't done a whole lot with him. Lonnie Chisenhall, a third baseman by trade, is going into right field after his pinch hit appearance.
So here's Abreu. He is 0 for 3 today and 0 for 5 lifetime against Shaw. So his 13-game hitting streak against Cleveland could be on the line. As fouls that one. Souvenir right side. First of 3 against these guys. And an off day on Thursday, and Minnesota comes in for 3, and after them Oakland for 4. And then it's off to our final road trip of the season.
Shaw's given up 7 home runs this year in 51 2/3. Guy out of the pen, that is a fairly high total.
Ball hit very hard and very foul. Start us off right here, big man.
Get outguessed that time. A couple of sliders he looked at, and then he got a fastball over the inside part of the plate. And Abreu gets called out. That one had a little cutting motion on it. I think Abreu thought it was going to be inside. It cut off the inside corner.
There's Melky. Strikeout, ground out to short, ground out to second. Takes the bunt. Marcella back a couple of steps. Now comes in. Now moves back. Now comes in. Even with the bag well off the line at third. Outfield slightly to the right. Spread out a little bit. And that's right to Urshela.
It looked like he moved back in, and then it happened to be exactly where he wound up.
Here's Avi. Avi has walked and scored. That was in the second. Tripled in the third. Singled in the sixth.
Bauer only gave up the 2 hits, and you're looking at the man that has both of them. Bauer went 7 innings, gave up 2 runs on the 2 hits, the 5 walks, 6 strikeouts. You wouldn't have thought he'd have made it through 7 when you looked at that second inning, and it's 4 walks, but make it he did. That was a very good pitch, and he didn't get the call. That ball had the whole plate.
Avi has faced Shaw 6 times, and he's drawn the column. Two 2-0.
You can't very well feel too bad about that one, because the first 2 pitches, one had the whole plate, the other one very close, and that one equally as close, and it's 2-1. Now he still has the count going for him.
2-2.
That fastball of his is a lot like David Robertson's, only might be a mile an hour or so faster, but it has the same kind of cutting motion on it. That one at 94 had plenty of late movement.
Well, we've gotten to Shaw a couple of times. He's gotten to us more than we've gotten to him. And that's a 1-2-3-8. We're into the ninth. It's 3-2 Indians.
Light, and it's the 2 home runs by Babe Rayburn. This coming in the 4th inning. Solo shot, and then in the 6th, the Titanic home run. Solo home runs in the 4th and 6th, and that's the difference in the ball game as it's 3-2 heading in the top of the 9th.
And here's Kipnis hitting for Johnson, who was 2 for 3. Kipnis, one of my favorite players to watch. He is a fun guy to watch play baseball.
Nice to see him have the kind of bounce back year he has. I think 311 this year. Hasn't had a chance to pinch hit very much, just his 2nd time because he plays every day. But he's entirely healthy and was from the beginning of the year, and it certainly has showed.
There's a strike. Well, he's one of those guys that in the games that I've watched him play against us, obviously, every time he's been out there, gives an impression he's going to beat you. That's into left field. And that's out number 1. Love those guys who play with a little bit of an edge.
It seems to save his best for this ballpark, getting 333 lifetime in front of the home folks. He was born and raised just up the road, and now Robin comes out. He's already made the move to the bullpen.
Brantley is going to hit for Sands, so another good job. Another good job by Matt Albers. Boy, he just keeps on getting people out. He'll depart, and we'll be back. Sports Thing with Chris Mars. Now, that's actors and comedians getting all sportish. So check out That Sports Thing, presented by Miller Lite. New episodes available at csnchicago.com.
Our Honda call to the pen is Dan Jennings. Jennings on for the 40th time. He's 1-3. ERA 4.57, and the first man he's going to look at is a man who did not start the game. Michael Brantley. He's only hitting .319 this year, 12-75 on the power numbers, 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter.
Well, he's turned into a 4-star player. Takes that breaking ball strike. I mentioned I love to watch Kipnis play. It's been really nice to watch Brantley come in. Got him in that trade, and all of a sudden you see him develop, and each and every year he gets a little better, 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 better. Those are fun guys to watch.
Came over from Milwaukee along with Matt Laporta for CC Sabathia.
Outfield bunched a bit, slightly to the left. Yeah, but we were talking, touched on it earlier in the game about some managers, what they'll do. When you get a left-hander out there like a Chris Sale, or you get a strong right-hander out there, like in this case this year, Jake Arrieta, somebody like that. They'll sit a couple of their guys out, some of their stars out, give them a little bit of a rest, let them watch a little bit. But if it's a close game late in the game, here they come. The Yankees used to do that quite a bit. It looked like the Yankees were had a 40-man roster. I'm talking about active roster. They used to run their good players against good pitchers. In the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning off that bench, it was just unbelievable.
At a restaurant in Minnesota, I ran into the daughter of John Blanchard.
Did you, JD?
Yes, I did.
What a great guy. That ball hit very hard. John Blanchard, former teammate of mine.
One of those guys you mentioned that got traded to the Yankees late from Kansas City, as a lot of people did, and then was very good off the bench for the Yankees.
Well, Mickey told me the story. Mantle told me the story about Blanchard when they traded him to us. Blanchard was sitting in his locker crying when he found out about the trade. Mickey goes over and says, JB, he says, don't worry about it now. We don't have much left to go in the season here, and we'll be seeing you. He said, Mickey, that's not what I'm crying about. He said, what are you crying about? He says, now, because I got to play.
You gave me the bench me or trade me ultimatum?
Yeah. Here's Almonte. He's had 3 good at-bats. One for a base hit, another one. As here comes Coop, as Ramirez is going to run for Brantley. And Johnny Blanchard was a real good left-handed hitter. He was one of the 7 Yankees that had 20 or more home runs.
That was a nice year for the ball club.
Oh, yeah.
In a park that wasn't exactly known for right-handers to hit the ball out of the park.
Back in those days, the Yankees built their club against real good left-handed hitting. Favre, I should say. Good left-handed hitting. Guys who could pull the ball. And it worked for them. What do they got? 26 world championships.
Can you blame him with 296 down the right field line?
Now Monty went deep to right field. Chuck made the play.
And Ramirez, 9 out of 12 in stolen bases.
And he's got a good lead. Okay, boys, take your time and rack them up. That little man right there, Almonte, can swing the bat. Meanwhile, we'll go to the bottom of the 9th. Chuck will lead it off for us.
Rodon. That's coming tomorrow on Wednesday. Josh Tomlin against Jeff Samardzija. And Cody Allen comes in, and he is their closer. Allen with very good stuff on for the 59th time. He's 1-4. His ERA a little below 3.5. 28 saves and 31 opportunities. This, of course, is the 32nd opportunity. 84 strikeouts in 57 innings. Mike Aviles shifts out to left field as Sands was taken out of the game. And Jose Ramirez, who came on to pinch run, stays in the game at second base.
And here's J.B. Shuck. Shuck has walked, popped up to first, and hit into a 4-6 fielder's choice. All right, boys, let's get something started. Let's give them a finish. First pitch strike out at 96. Cody Allen out of Orlando, Florida. That pitch had a zone.
Right now with the pitcher in bright sunshine and the hitter obscured in the shadows, the visibility is not the best.
He did not go.
Last year, Allen had 24 saves, was not used as a full-time closer. But he had a 2.07 ERA in 76 appearances. He gets ahead of you 2 strikes.
Breaking ball is tough.
and throws that curveball, you got a problem.
That breaking ball is tough. You got to get him on his fastball. So here is Michael. He's walked, struck out, and hit into a 4-6 fielder's choice. Hit that ball hard to Aviles, who was at second base at that time, as he goes through that one.
He was in college. His fastball topped out at 92. He pitched around 90 miles an hour. Now his fastball tops out at 98.
96 for a strike and the count 0-2.
Score a run or two. David Robertson.
Chase Thompson has come out on deck. And that's just off the corner. Had a little piece of the outside edge of the outside corner.
Well, you would think the curveball would be forthcoming. Taking a look in at Gomes.
Did he put down more than one? Yeah, he did. Two balls, two strikes. They put down the one, so here it comes. Two down. So here's Trace. Trace, got to get him on his fastball, buddy, whether it be the first, second, or third time he throws it, if he goes that long. Not on that one.
No, you're not getting that one for sure. And Trace looking for first ball fastball. Got the hook. Got a second one.
And the count 0-2. We're down to our last bullet.
So let's hope he doesn't get a third one.
Of woodwork. He just pokes it out there. Pitch was very close. Had to defend the plate, and he did, and that'll bring up Gio.
Well, he got a third one. And that one, the fastest of the three. It wasn't a strike, but he reached out, dumped it into right field, kept the game alive, and brought the winning run to the plate.
Well, that's what we talk about. You got to have a different swing on 0-2 as you do on 2-0. And that was an 0-2 approach right there. As here is Gio. Come on, Gio, one time, buddy. One time. Long set. He was looking for it, got it at 96, and fouls it back.
Outfield about as deep as you'd want to get all the way around.
That's all the way back now. Now, yes.
Seventh wild pitch. And when you throw a lot of curveballs, it's going to be very tough on your catcher to block anything. And that time, Gomes, who's a good catcher, had no chance at all. That ball bounced well in front of the plate.
And then took the spin.
And took a high hop. So there's a tying run at second base.
Well, the other day, Saturday in Kansas City, Gio unloaded on one, just a bomb. In the left center. All we need here is just a base hit. To the middle. Lindor makes the play. Francisco Lindor. And this ball game is over. So Chris Sale did not pitch bad. He did throw 3 solo homers if you're just tuning in. And we had a chance that couldn't do anything. We just couldn't hit against them.
Unfortunately, it's the guys that usually do it against our ball club, Aviles and Rayburn, and they did it once again. So losing a 1-run game is the first of a homestand. Not the best way to go about it.
And let's check out our player of the game. It is Ryan Rayburn, our player of the game. So, for Steve Stone, for Jim Angel, for Mike Leary, for Dave Ross, also for the mayor of Mean Joe Group, John Dickinson, Frank D'Amato, Doug Bullard, this is the Hawk. So long, everybody. And coming up next, White Sox Post Game Live.